Peace and blessings, y'all. This is your boy Gerald. It is the 15th of November, 2014. How is everyone doing? Hope you're doing alright. Bear with me, y'all. Bear with me. Alright. There you go. So I'm up in here. Got my morning coffee. Yeah, I'm doing that hazelnut creamer. Really good. So I got the music channel on behind me, and there was a song that just went off called "Runaway." And it's by the Soul Orchestra. Came out in '77, and there was a female that's doing the lyrical part of the song. It was a disco song, but it was really nice. But when you listen to the content, she's explaining to her lover that pretty much, if you don't hold on to me, I'm gonna move on, because that's all I know how to do. And is pretty bold with it, because she actually says in the lyrics that, you know, you are one of many and I have many across town, because that's what I do. So she's choosing to walk in the shoes of a player. And many of us take this disposition that, you know what, it is easier to detach my emotions from my heart than to try to allow what I need to come into harvest, which is love, honor, respect, growth. And it seems like now we live in a blatant projection of that in our society. You know, sex has such an influence on the day-to-day, as well as how we spend money. And you know, the one question I always wondered is why. You know, everything has a place. Everything has a meaning. But if there's no balance to it, it can actually become a setback. It can actually become a hardship because of choices made. And, you know, as I was thinking about it, as I'm listening to the song, and I highly recommend, if you got nothing to do, just go right up there. It's called the Soul Orchestra, Runaway, and listen to what she's saying. Now, it wasn't disrespectful, but it didn't project her in the right light, because even though she was running around town, she was compromising herself each and everywhere she went. But the thing about it was, the people that she was choosing to align herself with didn't see her worth, because they were allowing her to do it. So therefore, they're a reflection of a like-minded connection. And the question you need to ask yourself is why? Why? My fellas, talk about some wisdom. You might not can hear it in the background. Highly recommend that you listen. Bobby Womack, a woman's gotta have it. Put it up there and listen to it, man. Listen to it. But before you assume anything, make sure that you are in a place that can warrant or allow that flower to grow. You gotta be honest with yourself. If you walking through your life and all you doing is using what God gave you as a bingo dabber, number one, you're giving yourself away. And two, it could actually give you some situations to think about it that may carry you on the rest of your days. So see your value and see your worth. But you know what's really ironic? Because what I really want to put out is this. Sometimes children are born in these connections. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. And the bond that should be there is not set up correctly. It's not blessed. And unfortunately, the parental responsibility is one-sided. But here's the ironic part about it. My fellas, the responsibility falls on both you and the mother. I know somebody right now said, well, Gerald, if I knew she was the way she was, I would have never gone down that road. Well, guess what? Every time you keep that mindset and that disposition, that is another day that your legacy, your lineage, your children or child suffers because you're not there. I need you to love yourself more. I need you to love yourself more and do the work that is needed for yourself. I need you to get yourself together. I do. And do whatever you need to do that it will balance out. You can't get back time that you don't have. You can't. See, I wasn't going to say something about it, but I am. I remember one time I got this message from this guy. And he is a father. And he has, he's got 4 or 5 kids, right? And for what I gather, he's like, he goes through seasons. It's like he's there and then he goes. And he was actually angry how his life is because he's a young guy and he doesn't have his life in order, and you know, socially he's responsible to raise his children, even if it is from a financial standpoint. So I heard what he had to say, but I also had to put accountability right where it should be. And I asked him, I said, okay, well, what are you going to do? So you have children and you don't have a relationship with the mothers. Now, you do understand that this only is this way because of 2 things. One, you allow this to go down. And number 2, you didn't know this person. And he got mad. But the fact of the matter is, you have some women that are not or do not have the state of mind to be mothers. They, unfortunately, because of choices made, think that, well, if I bring a child in my life, they will fill the void that I have in myself, because I have someone that will unconditionally love me, because they have to depend on me. But what you fail to realize is, you, each and every time you make a choice to not have the support of the Father, you are really setting back that child until you do. And the thing is, y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, number one, my queens that have the title of mother, why do you willfully disrespect yourself and call yourself a baby mama? That's not what you are. You're somebody's mother. That is your child. So why do you condone that? That's like someone calling you the N-word, calling you out of your name, because that's not who you are. Why do you accept it? My kings, you need to take accountability for your life. So you don't have a rapport with the mother. You can't even talk to each other. The question is, have you done everything that you possibly can do to facilitate a minimum of communication, a lot of communication? Because guess what? Newsflash to the both of you. It's not about you. It's about them. On the flip side, my queens, if you are willfully being malicious and having adult conversations in the midst of your children, you are contaminating the way that they see the father or the mother. Stop doing that. Because you know what's going to happen? If you continue to foster those negative habits, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. That child is going to grow to a point, and then that child's going to feel like it's not loved. And you know what happens? The child's going to grow up and go seek love, because they think that, well, I don't have love here, and I'm going to gravitate to anybody that will give me attention. This happens a lot with our girls, with our little girls. The first man that comes along that shows attention, they gravitate. And little do you know, that person might be a predator. Real talk. Because let me tell you what, we're living in the environment where sugar daddies, which really ain't nothing but predators with a bank account, they are. And I'm not hating, I'm stating fact. When you see a female and she in her 20s and she aligning herself with somebody that's 20 plus her senior, you know why she does it? She does it for two reasons: financial access and the attention that her father didn't give her. And what does she have to give? Her body. She gets to think in her mind, well, as long as I use this, that'll keep him around. Now, newsflash, most sugar daddies, you're not the only one. Please believe that you're not the only one, because you're not. You're just somebody that is giving him access to tap into his youth. You're making him feel young. But look at it this way. You could have all the money in the world, but if you had yourself together, why wouldn't you attract someone your equal? what you got to talk to, what y'all got to talk about that, you know, now she's gonna gain knowledge from you, but it'll be all negative. And guess what? If she doesn't see her worth and value, she's gonna turn around and perpetrate the same cycle to a young guy. And guess what? He don't know the difference from his elbow from his ass. And he's just going to be fun because it's something to do. And unfortunately, those habits are going to take root. And he's going to end up doing that to somebody else. And the cycle continues. I know somebody right now pissed off because you're like, well, you don't know, Gerald. You don't know. He's nice to me. Oh, really? Okay, I'll tell you what you do. You stop sleeping with him and see how nice he is. I'll flip it. You stop being her benefactor and see how quick her emotions change towards you. Somebody once told me you want to see what a person's really made of? Stop doing the things that you do the most. And I ain't understand that. Because I had this belief system that, nah, I can't be that naive. Why would I allow myself to be in the midst of someone that doesn't have my best interest? But see, society, they like to make movies and write books and put magazines out and put video clips here to sway your judgment. That's why they exist. That is why, even more so, life coaches and psychologists and therapists will always be in need. I need you to light that fire in your self-worth. I need you to get back. See that log? That's what's inside you. That's you. I need you to let it burn. The more that you invest in yourself, the more you can get back to one, and the more your life will be as it's rightfully should. I ain't trying to be rude. Give me 1 second. I'm going to check on Tyson real quick. Talk about synchronicity, boy. Just like you do. And thinking that you don't. Just like you do. But you won't. Wow. This song holds dear feelings for me. I remember, I think I was maybe 10, 11 years old. And I remember my mother used to play this song all the time. And for like Mother's Day, I took this little microphone connected to the stereo and I sang this song for my mom, put it on a little cassette and made a little card and gave it to her. Because, you know, that's my mother. And you only have one. Just like you only have one father, but you can have dads, you know. And look, to my family out there, that if you are in a relationship where biologically these children were not from you, it doesn't matter, because they need love. You're there for a reason. So it's up to you to see the worth of that connection and do your part. And if you know that that's not where you are emotionally, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Step to the side and allow someone to come into her life that will appreciate and love her. But here's the thing, it won't have any merit if she don't love herself first. And that goes for you too. So now we're living in the days of Bill Cunningham and Maury Povich and Jerry Springer, and you know, they make a mockery every day. We sit there and watch TV and we yell at it like, I wouldn't have did that, why would she do? But when it comes to our life, we don't put that same zeal and zest when it comes to our lives. And I'm like, come on now. Why do you not think you deserve to have emotional balance? Why do you not feel that you deserve to have emotional stability? Why do you not believe that you deserve to be loved? Why do you not? But don't you realize until you make a conscious decision to do this initially, can it be attracted into your life? You can't compromise or manipulate your environment to think that you're going to be able to do that. That's why you see this play out time and time again. You might see this guy, he's got this beautiful girl, but he's miserable. He's miserable because he knows that it's an unbalance. There's an unbalance there because he ain't being true to himself. She ain't being true to him either, because of the fact that she don't respect herself. You know? Come on now. People, how much pain you gonna inflict? How much burdens you gonna put in your backpack? And it's funny because women, y'all think that, well, if I change my men out like I change my tires, that your situation is going to be better. Little do you know, not only have you wasted time, because you got to, I mean, think about it. Think about it. I'm going to say this and get off of it. Think about all the men that have climbed on top of your body. Own it. Own it. Yeah, it feels good as a warm body, but think about that. But more importantly, think about every time you did, and the disappointment that came with it, the shame that came with it, the guilt, because you went from a place of impulse, and you're like, you know what, I knew I shouldn't have done that, and guess what, and it puts you in a worse position that you were in. And now I'm not making light of it, because you deserve to be loved. You deserve to be treasured. You deserve to be cherished. I was trying to put the two words together on the lips, boy, you know. But guess what? I can't make you see your worth. But it's up to you to keep your self-respect. Your self-respect is not found on top of your vagina. It's not found on the tips of your area. It's not there. It is fostered in your heart. Oh, I know I done lost about 10 subscribers because they know I'm speaking the truth. Oh, God forbid, you so broken. You so broken. And won't take the time to heal. So what do? You say, I ain't gonna have nothing to do with no men no more. You turn around and wash your hands of an entire gender. An entire gender. Do you realize there are 6 billion people on this planet, and you said none of them matter? None of them have the right to respect and love you? Really? 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 Newsflash. The same problems and pains that you feeling in your emotion, in your inside of you, you're going to find when you go across the street. If not more. Because guess what? They don't go away. They increase. Because you're not living your purpose. But you keep doing what you think is right. And see how far that gets you. You see how far? I know I'm going to get some dislikes on it, but I'm going to tell you what. I'm not the one that's putting the poison in your hand. You're choosing to. And that goes for anybody. A lot of people think that the more bad behavior they put out, the more revered they are. You know, like that old proverb, I'd rather be feared than loved. Really? You rather be feared than loved. So if you take a position of fear, or you want people to fear you, guess what? They'll never understand you. And you're actually embracing a position of manipulation and control. So why do you think anything good is going to come out of that? And all you did was just open a door for continual pain until you decide to change the path. My kings, you need to get off your high horse. You need to check that arrogance and pride that you think that is a badge of honor, but it actually is a badge of disrespect. I say this because you got work you have to do. Number one, is your legacy yours? Nobody can forge your legacy but you. I'm going to keep saying this. If you've got children or a child and you're not in their lives, make a choice, make a conscious decision to get back in your child's life. Now let me tell you something, y'all. See, this is what y'all don't know. Because I can speak my truth. See, I'm a dad. I am. I have a 16-year-old daughter. No, 15. And I have not seen her through almost 10 years. I know y'all say, well, how could you do that, Joe? How? Let me tell you what. The choice was not mine. It was not. And for the last 10 years, not a day goes by that my daughter's not on my mind. I pray for her even more so. But you know what? And I can say this proudly. I would rather that period of time represent for who I am now and what's to come than for my daughter to witness the pain that I had to go through. So you gotta understand something, y'all. I'm the first one to tell you this. You look at a cat that had a low self-esteem. Low self-esteem. Struggled with it when I was from a little boy throughout my teens, even especially in my 20s. when I was in the military. I did. Because deep down inside, Gerald just wanted to love and be loved. And I felt that I wasn't getting that. But I had enough common sense to not put myself at risk and make decisions that would just destroy my life. I always believed that as long as I kept working on myself, as long as I started to work on what needed to be worked, because I'm humbled that my life matters, that I know that everything that I've done will, those seeds of, I'll see that harvest when I'm supposed to. So my kings, and no, it wasn't like, oh, well, you know, no, I was actually married. I was married for 9 years. But I've kind of realized that the person that I was married to did not love me. They didn't love me because they didn't love themselves. And actually, you had two people come together that had emotional baggage. And here's the ironic part about it, because I can speak on this now, but because it took me 10 years. It took me 10 years to have the courage to do so. See, you're looking at a man that don't know what the word quit is. Because I'd seen too many examples of what failure looks like when it comes to a family. I've seen it. You know, and that's one thing I've realized and keeps me humble, because I know God guided me through these connections. You know, I went through this season, it never failed. It seemed like I always attracted women that had kids. And Gerald loves the kids. Gerald loves the kids. So you would have thought that when I would be blessed to have my own. Oh. But guess what? Looking back now, I'm grateful for where I am now. And yes, my beloved, Daddy loves you. And when the work is done, you will see me. So don't worry about time lost. It's just beginning. You'll see. But my fellas, you need to get off your high horse. If she don't want to have a relationship with you, continue to have a relationship with your child. They didn't ask to come here. And yes, my queens, I know somebody pissed off and said, well, you know what, Gerald? You didn't have to carry that baby for 9 months. But let's call a spade a spade. If you didn't choose that man, you wouldn't have carried that baby. You wouldn't. Because life comes from him. You just sustain it. Let's call a spade. You can't have a baby by yourself, so get off your high horse too. But see, a lot of women think that, well, you know what? Well, you know, he was weak. He was too weak for me, so I had to find me a strong man. And you turn around and get out there in the world and compromise yourself. Give yourself to the wrong people and end up in a far worse place than where you began. You will never find love where love don't exist. You won't. And a lot of times women, you know I'm telling the truth, you'll use that child as a weapon. And I'm here to tell you on this, for those who think that that is cute, why you think your life is where it is right now? You got to make that right. You got to make that right. No amount of money will equate for the pain that you're going to feel. Because you're not supposed to be walking alone. And oh, before anybody thinks that, oh, Gerald, I had an illegitimate child out there. No. From the first breath that she took to this day, Daddy's always financially provided. Oh yeah. That's just who I am, because she's an extension of me. She's my daughter. So I'm not going to That's one thing I will say about her mom. She always knew that I better never get a phone call that she goes without, because I give beyond. However, I had to realize for myself, money does not equate for time. But look at it this way. Some of my queens, some of my mothers, the reason why the father's not in the life of your child is because of your actions, because of what comes out of your mouth. You gotta own it, because there was some manipulation going down. You may have set out and said, well, if I get pregnant by him, he's gonna be around. No, that don't keep a man in your life. It will never keep a man in your life. Never. But guess what? Two people that don't respect themselves or don't love themselves, how far you think you're going to go with that? So I know somebody's saying, well, Gerald, how do you deal knowing that you've got flesh and blood on this planet and you're not there? A whole lot of prayer. Whole lot of prayer. And I know that once the work is done, because all I want is for my daughter to be proud. I want my daughter to know that, yes, my dad loves me. He don't see me like I wish, but I understand. And with that being, talk about synchronicity. Respect yourself. You'll never find love if you constantly sleeping with everybody. Respect yourself. A lot of women have gotten this mindset. You thinking like men, but you'll never get the past that men do. You'll unfortunately will never get that ring either. Your name will never change. You'll end up in the fraternity, or the sorority that so many women in generations past had to settle with a piece of a man, or whoever Mr. Right Now was. And he's only going to tolerate until the milk is gone, and then he's gone. Because he's not, come on now. But I think somebody needed to hear that. Look at it this way. If you got a family, ready-made family, and you struggling, look at why. If you got a pattern where you got multiple fathers, and like I said, I can't stand that term, baby daddy. That is so disrespectful. But society put it out there, and guess what? The impressionable absorbed it. It's like somebody being called a jigaboo. It's just like somebody being called bougie. That ain't who you are. But your life don't stop because you're a parent. It don't. But if you don't have yourself together, you are doing a disservice with your child. And that's another thing too. You got to be cognitive of what comes out your mouth, because you are also putting a bias in your child's mind. But you know what? I'm a firm believer of this too. See, one day you're going to sit in the room with your child, right? This is how you know if somebody, call a spade. Guess what? That child is gonna do the math. Child gonna do the math. And if you haven't come from a place of honesty, that child unfortunately is gonna resent you for a long time. And no, I'm not venting. I'm trying to save you from the pain that you do not want to inherit. Don't do it. Don't do it, my kings. Don't worry about what she's doing or who she has in her life. If it's not blessed, guess what? Unfortunately, you're going to watch a carousel of men come and go. And they ain't there just to play pinochle. And until she sees her worth and value, or more or less, until she gets tired of taking on other people's burdens, other people's shames, other people's words. She's doing time in her mind. But I'm here to tell you, you love her anyway. You give her the respect that is due her, because she is the mother of your child or children. Don't listen to your environment. If your boys is saying, listen, they don't have to live your life. If your girlfriends are turning around and putting more emphasis on what he's doing, you may be looking at somebody just trying to sleep with him. Real talk. I think somebody needed to hear that. See, I'm going to always speak my truth, because I know that God has something very special for my life. But I've got to do the work, and only you can do yours. So I need you to have the courage. As I said in the last video, make a list of at least 5 things that you're going to leave in 2014. Make pain be one of them. Make pride be one of them. Make manipulation and vindictiveness one of them, because it's holding you back. But just know, it's not your responsibility to teach someone to love themselves. And that's usually 9 times out of 10 why relationships fail. Because the one person doesn't have the capacity to love for 2. But here's the sad thing. The person that, I'm not trying to make light of it, but you will see that. You will see everything that you need to see, because guess what? Your life will take on a certain direction, and theirs will be looking like it's standing still. But guess what? I don't care if it's one guy or 50. There's only one you. So it's very important that you love yourself, respect yourself, honor yourself, do the work, and heal. You will not find healing in stolen moments. All that does is push back your progression. I wasn't going to say nothing about it, but I'm going to say this now. So I'm rolling around in my Jeep yesterday, right? And I was at the light, and I saw this couple of females, right? And you knew they were together. Now get it. I'm approximately I'm at the intersection. So they're a good maybe 150 yards away, right? I'm listening to my music, and I watched one look across and make direct eye contact and automatically look down. I didn't say a word. I'm just waiting for the light to turn. But you could see that this person had a burden on him. Had a burden on him. And just wanted to be loved. And you know what? Someone said something significant about that. I think it was, what's my girl name? She just got out of jail. Damn. Can't think of her name, but she was saying about when she was in jail, she got her GED, and you know, the facility that she was in, the women's facility that she was in, she said that it was common that women would couple up and they would nurture each other. And she said what she found that was so amazing was, she said like 50% of them weren't gay. They weren't. They just wanted to be loved. So they were willing to accept love from wherever it came, wherever the source is. And you know, I'm not bashing, I'm not being disrespectful, but I know this to be true. I've seen this manifest indirectly in my life, and I've come to notice a lot of people that choose to say, wash my hands of women or men, I guarantee they do it because there was a pain so deep that any remote connection to that situation, they say, I'm going to steer clear from it. When in actuality, if they just had the courage to look at why, maybe saw the blessing in the dissolvement of that connection, they in turn just went with the flow. And keep in mind, there are predators there too in that lifestyle. Keep it moving. But that's nor here nor there, because at the end of the day we have free will. But trust when I say this. Haven't you noticed that pain, if you're not supposed to be doing something, why do you think you're going to get blessed? You're not. You're doing time in your mind. So I happen, and case in point, you know, people making mockeries of lifestyles. You got a guy on there saying, you know, I'm this and I'm that. I'm like, well, in actuality, if you knew who you were and took accountability for your life first, you would actually have more control in the decisions that you make, because you will forge the boundaries that were needed to have access to your life. You can't find that in temporary satisfaction. Anybody can yield an orgasm if you let them do it. Hell, if I turn around and I had a cow and I needed some milk, and I get to working on it after a while, the friction is going to cause it to expel milk. You ain't a cow. So stop treating your body like it's a piece of meat. God gave you a brain, but He gave you a heart first. Own your path. Heal yourself. Take as long as you need to get you right, because you ain't going to find it in the streets. You not. You not. And fellas, why do you think that so many women will not be truthful about their partners? Because they worry about the stigma of you judging them. That's why it's not good to have a judging heart. Because I'm going to tell you what, I don't give a darn if the person I choose to walk with has been with XYZ partners, because they don't matter if I'm relevant in their lives. So don't use that as a weapon too. Because trust and believe, here's something we as people don't have control of. you know, your body, it tells stuff. My queens, do not think because you put out an image that you're charming and sweet, that you're innocent, because guess what? It says the opposite. I don't care if you try to water it down, try to mask it. Guess what? Real recognizes real, and you attract what you are. But it's up to you to change it. So you're going to change it. You're going to love yourself. You're going to do what's right. You're going to embrace that journey. And you're going to have the blessings that are intended with your name. Because you also know that you can't run from your life. You can't. But you can dictate the outcome when you claim your life first. So stop listening to your girlfriends. They may be the ones holding you back. Stop running with your boys if they ain't growing. Plant them seeds in your life and claim yourself. Be the man and the woman that your higher power, I know him as my Lord Jesus Christ, intended. Your life was not in vain. God knows if I could show you, I would. But I'll never judge you. Nah, for what? You're going to be alright. 2015 got a boatload of blessings waiting for you. As I always say, God is praying for you. You know I am. I see your worth. And for that, it helps me discern mine. When you learn to love yourself, you can also learn to speak your truth by grounding your feet. Stop allowing your environment to steal the essence that makes you. Because trust and believe, you ain't a punching bag. You're not supposed to be in abusive connections. If it don't grow, why compromise it? It has no worth in that. So my queens, stop messing with them clowns. Stop allowing them to reap the harvest that they didn't plant seeds for. Because it'll be you that will end up trying to put it back together. Come on, shackle breakers. Let's do what we got to do. I love each and every one of you. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, concerns, drop me a line. Like, don't like, subscribe. And as I always say, stay protected, stay blessed, and of course, stay you. You deserve it. Peace.